Hello team, this is Real World Audio. My previous video, my thoughts on Class D amps got a lot of discussion, lot of comments. I'm really glad that you had so many thoughts and things to share about it. And I like to now focus on a comment. And this is the last comment that I currently have on the video, and I just read it out. Confirmation bias with Yamamoto insertion. 22 minutes to explain your bias. If others have great results, let them have it. Enjoy. Move on. Next. So I was at first little bit baffled by this comment, like what the but I'll enjoy. I'll try to respond to it in a civilized fashion, and because this comment comes from a point of view that when you don't really get when I'm sharing in the video, and it felt that you wasted 22 minutes of your life, and the wording used, like confirmation bias, explaining your bias. I have news for every one of you, that whatever you hear online, whatever you read in the books, anywhere, any kind of anything that anyone tells you, whether in words or written, is that person's bias. So I got news for you. Move on. Next. Now, actually, if you took the time to, or maybe you were awake during the video, then you realized that actually it was that Class D amp insertion in that video. Because that system that I talked about, my friend's system, where we listened to the Class D amplifier, the Yamamoto was not inserted in that system. That's where the Yamamoto lived. If you want to put together a system like that in current value, that would be around $40,000-$50,000 system. And the Yamamoto is an integral part of it. And we swapped in that Class D amplifier, which cost approximately 100 times less than the Yamamoto amplifier. And if you listen to my video, then you noticed that all of us were absolutely amazed how well that little amplifier performed in that system, that we did not expect to hear that. So I was sharing that video so that those people who are thinking about Class D, they can have it and enjoy it. I really, so then why is he feeling so salty about that video of mine? Because at the end, the final conclusion, I told you guys that the Yamamoto was just about orders of magnitude deeper experience than that little amplifier. But that does not take away anything from that little amplifier. If we would have taken that system with that tiny Class D amplifier to a show like RMAF or a high-end show, then I would say, like, those people who are listening to the show and the reviewers and those who are judges would have easily voted it with the Class D amp best of the show sound, or one of the 3 candidates for best of show sound. So that's, I think that that's fantastic news for everyone. And as I said, that what we heard there was a very high level of that modern sound that people want to hear, what people think of as high-end sound. When you think about the parameters of the sound, you are obsessed about frequency range and dynamics and 3D properties, all of these things. That tiny little amp, when we misplaced it in a very expensive system, it could keep up. and perform. However, I don't want to get anyone's hopes to an unnecessarily unrealistic level, because that tiny amplifier that's like under $50 category, if you put it in a similarly priced system that you like throw at it like $100 speakers, you don't believe in power cables and then interconnects, you give them those generic zip ties equipment comes with, you give it like maybe your iPod as a source or something like that, then it will not sound anything like what we heard in a really fine-tuned high-end system. So that's why I think that even though that little amp had much more potential than we ever imagined, because there are other amplifiers like class B solid state amplifiers or class AB solid state amplifiers, which cost 10 times that price, maybe 20, 30 times the price that the tiny class D amp did cost. And when we insert it to that very same system, they sound very bad, and their negatives come at such a level that you don't want to listen to it. But this tiny little amp had so much potential in it that even with that refined system, it could keep pace. So I think I have not emphasized this aspect of our review enough, or maybe I did tell it, but people or some of you have not noticed it. That's why I'm saying that just pay attention to reviews and comparisons, that when people are sharing their thoughts, then when I say that there were a dozen of us and all of us were very impressed of the Class D amp, then just do not dismiss it because you don't believe what people tell you, and you are just focusing on that part that I'm bringing out, that amplifier that cost 100 times better as the one that everyone liked better. Okay? If you guys have this type of attitude towards stereo, that you are so salty, then you will have a very, very hard time finding the gems and stepping through your pain and anguish. And I can understand everyone, because I am at the same situation where you are. I cannot afford to buy a very expensive stereo gear, and part of my channel, why I did this channel, is to help all of you who are in this situation. And to me, it doesn't matter whether you can afford something or you cannot afford something. I am sharing information that you can step to the next level even using very little resources. Because in that previous video, in this video on the Class D amp, I mentioned that all of us thought, number one, that Class D amp could hold its ground in a very sophisticated system. So it does mean that Class D technology truly has tremendous potential in it. So why am I not really turned on by Class D? Because of my second comment that I shared in this video, is that all of us, without exception, we felt unequivocally that Class D presentation of the sound stayed at the level of sound, and we did not get close to music. And this is a group of guys who have tried out, if you put the dozen of us together, we heard maybe like 10,000 or more audio systems put together, the all of us. So we are not greenhorns. We heard literally everything that you can hear in every combination. And the resounding common experience of us is that if you want a deep connection with music, that's occurring only through vacuum tubes. And now the bad news of this previous video was that the vacuum tube amplifier that we use to get that experience is a very expensive amplifier. And I'm not just talking about the Yamamoto that we specifically heard, but usually that experience level is occurring around that price range, around like $3,000-4,000. Oh, that's my cat making noises. So around that price range is when you start to get that magic from the sound, that primal connection to the emotionality of the music. Is when you touch the human side, you touch the heart, and and maybe this might be news for some of you, but when I started out in audio, I did not have that sort of money. I could not afford to buy gear like that, and I started out on the path on my going after my head how to figure out to make tube amplifiers that give you that type of deep immersion with much less money. And many of you have seen that I am sharing my plans for the Darling amplifier, and the Darling amplifier is one of those amplifiers that can give you the same type of deep immersion as the Yamamoto does at a price which is modest even compared to current state-of-the-art Class D amplifiers. So if you think that you are on a budget and that's why you are choosing Class D to get the last stage in sound reproduction that will give you the ultimate experience, and you are doing that because that's the only thing your wallet affords, then I tell you guys, just consider looking at the Darling amplifier, because for a few $100 you can get that experience where the Yamamoto performs. And of course what you need to do is just get out of your chair and get new skills, or find people who know how to put together amplifiers and ask for their help to coach you through the process to build it. And it's not that difficult. Yes, it's dangerous, you are dealing with lethal voltages, so if you are uncomfortable, then don't do it, but find out who can do it for you and team up with people who know it, and take it as a project, get them a case of beer, whatever. Find a way. If you truly want to reach something, you will be able to do that. You guys have no idea how hard was it for me to get those skills that I have now, how hard my journey was, and how much sacrifice it required of me, and how many thousands, tens of thousands of hours of my life I put into it. So I'm not talking to you as someone who just, something fell in my lap and I'm just, talking as an outsider, just telling you whatever. No. I'm here to teach you how to find your dreams, how to reach your dreams, and also I'm sharing with you what is my perception and what are my goals. Do they jive with your goals? Do you want that sort of connection that I get? Do you want to hear a pure violin like I do? Do you want to hear the purity of a piano, how a piano sounds, and what sort of experience you get when you hear a real piano? How does that resonate with your heart? If you are after that sensation, then go after the Darling amplifier. Of course, there is no perfect audio technology. Every technology has its own benefits. So for example, with the Darling amplifier, the drawback is that it has less than 1 watt output power, and that's why I am sharing about void pipes and high efficiency loudspeakers, so you can still have an experience to enjoy even full orchestras with less than 1 watt power. And I have lived with this sort of power level for 20 years, and I can tell you that I did not miss any more power. So the Darling amplifier and void pipe combination gave me something that I did not want to play anything louder. I did not feel the need ever that I need more watts. If you listen to music that has like a lot of subsonic stuff, or maybe you just add the subwoofer if you don't want to add the sub, and you just want to really pump out 120 dB SPL, then of course, then it's not this purist approach you need to follow. Then you can just get a high power class D amp and find a reasonably efficient loudspeaker, and that will get you that excessive SPL. But if you are not into quantity, you are into quality, then I really urge everyone to just look into vacuum tubes and look into high efficiency loudspeakers, because but only in the case if you are unhappy with the sound you have now. If you are happy with the sound, I have told this already several times in my videos on my channel, that if you are happy, don't change anything, just tweak your system, do tiny little things which elevate it, but don't be on the look for changing your components. Don't binge on reviews. Spend your time, focus on music, on finding more music material. But if you feel that you are not connecting to music, maybe your system sounds great, but it has like highs, lows, whatever, but you cannot grasp why you want something different, then maybe what I am suggesting, low power or flea power vacuum tubes and high efficiency loudspeakers, that might be something for you. So thank you guys for tuning in. I hope this helped to give pointers to everyone. And thank you all for your comments. And thank you, Noter2, for your comment as well. I'm giving it a like and I'm hearting it as well, because your point of view is important to me, and I really felt that I just need to share about it, because yeah, thank you for sharing, thank you for watching, guys. Have an awesome day and listen to music. Bye bye.